Okay, so living trust. Okay, living trust. Most people are familiar with a will, which is a good thing. Every single person on this call needs to have a will. You just write something up, all your stuff that you, material, monetary, physical things. If you have a business, go ahead and write up what you want to happen to it if you get incapacitated or transition. Go ahead and just write it. There's templates online, but you can just write something. It doesn't have to be specific, or it doesn't have to be like a particular type of document. You can just write something in the form of a letter, however you want to do it. Okay, so yeah, a comprehensive view of monetary and physical things you would like to pass on in your life. So for me, my books, my crystals, my writings, my photos, my clothes. I'll probably just donate my clothes if I transition. But anything you have, for those of you who have larger assets right now, your house, if you have like crystal ware, silver, gold, anything that you have, put it in the will. So your will, your will is clear, right? Power of attorney. So this is something you need if you get incapacitated, transition, or if you're traveling. Okay, so you can have a temporary power of attorney versus like a generalized, consistent power of attorney. So it's a one-page notarized document giving a trusted, emphasis on trusted person, control over the legal affairs regarding your entire estate, your businesses, and other legal matters. So emphasis on trusted. That's why it can be beneficial to have a time frame, a temporary power of attorney. So if say you're traveling out of the country, say you're in Costa Rica, and you have business happening back on mainland in the US, and something pops up, and the bank needs your signature for something, or there's some legal situation that you cannot handle from Costa Rica, if you plan ahead for that, you can establish a trusted power of attorney who can sign, who can do whatever you need to do, get the proper documents, knows where the documents live, and handle that business for you while you're out of the country, right? So this is something that people do a lot. If they're out of the country, it's something that can also protect you if something happens to you over the country, out of the country, while you're out of the country. So I know I'm connected to people who have had experiences of having to deal with somebody who traveled to, say, Africa and ended up dying. And then there's this whole process of getting the body back to the United States, and how to do the legal matters around that, how to do that. Having a power of attorney can just make that a lot more straightforward. Okay, next is medical directive. You may be familiar with this one. This is basically a document, a document that lets people know what you want to happen if you become incapacitated or transition. This is extremely important, especially if you have particular spiritual or religious ideals around what happens to your body when you cannot make decisions for yourself or you have transitioned. So a legal form that allows people over the age of 18 to write down their wishes, preferences, and instructions for future health care, end of life, living arrangements, and any other personal matters. So you can say, look, I want to be cremated. I don't want to be put on life support. Just let me pass naturally. I've witnessed, and you can put some sevens in the chat if you've experienced this too, but I've witnessed the challenge when there's not a medical directive, and for a mother and the siblings, one sibling wants the mom to be kept on life support and kept alive as long as possible, where another sibling is like, nah, just let her go. We got to let her go, and it ends up being this intense tension. And we don't know, this is actually my grandmother I'm talking about. We don't actually know what my grandmother wanted because we never asked. Right? So it's important for you to be clear for yourself. And also, if you have people around you, elders around you, or just people in general, see if there's a way to have the conversation if they don't have this established. Like, please screenshot this, please, share this with people around you. If you can see yourself getting in a sticky situation with this, with your elders, try to have that. My mom established a medical directive back in 2017, maybe 2016. She doesn't have a will, she doesn't have a living trust, but she has a medical directive. We're working on the living trust right now and the will. So it's really important. Next is HIPAA authorization. This is something that is established, for example, when your doctor needs to talk to your insurance about what's going on with your body. You sign a consent at the beginning. You can also do this for partners, loved ones who, if you're incapacitated, may need to make a decision or may need to share some personal information about your health. Having a HIPAA authorization gives consent for them to do that. If, say, your partner shares some information and you come back and you like, I didn't give you consent to do that, it can technically be a legal issue. Or it could be, your mother, your father, your child, giving them authorization to share the information, share the records, whatever it is. And then guardianship. So guardianship is if you become if you are a legal guardian of a minor or an adult who cannot take care of themselves. So, your ward or an adult who's your dependent, you claim as your dependent, and you get incapacitated or transition, you need to have a guardianship established. If you have any dependents, establish a guardianship. So the example that I love to give is if you're the guardian of a minor, somebody under 18, and you transition before they're 18 and you have the trust, you have everything, they cannot receive that trust until they turn 18. So that trust actually goes to, either the person you've established as the next guardian or anybody who can make a claim. So say if you have an ex-partner, a family member, a grandparent, or a parent who, if you transition, tries to make a claim over the trust and you don't trust them, by the time your child turns 18 to receive the trust, there may be nothing in it. So you can protect yourself from that by establishing a guardianship, by establishing a guardian for who, a trusted person for who will take over guardianship of the minor or the dependent after you transition, who will do what you direct them to do as far as holding the trust until your child turns 18. Okay. And also that person is committed to taking care of that person as well.